Alright, today we are looking at the Baoer 3035 fountain pen. This is my first Baoer pen. It's unbranded, so it took some doing to track down the exact make and model of this pen. I knew nothing about Baoer before this. It's a Chinese pen manufacturer, obviously so far off my radar that I had no idea what I was looking at when I received this. The pen itself is all metal. It has good weight to it. It is surprisingly well made. This feels like a premium product. If it had some additional aesthetic flair to it, some decent branding, it probably could be passable as a much more expensive pen. The cap clacks into place. The nib on this was described as a 1mm nib. It is actually a fewed nib. Look at that hook. It has a dramatic bend to it, much more so in person than the Sailor Hakoro dip pen. And it is a converter pen. The threads in the section are metal, of course, as are the threads in the barrel. The machining on them is really quite nice. The converter itself is a typical converter. Smooth action. There are some converters I've used where getting it to turn is a struggle. This one's halfway decent. Reassembles nicely. Has a good size to it. And of course it posts. I don't normally post a pen. Friends don't let friends post pens, but it not only posts, we'll show you later on how well it posts. But we're going to get it inked up. And the ink we're choosing today is Diamine Oxblood, which is in there somewhere. Oxblood. You have to wonder, why oxblood? Why not deer blood or elk blood? You have to wonder what degree of marketing assessment actually went into selecting which mammal you're going to compare the blood color with, at least in theory. We'll get this thing inked a bit. I'm not going to fill this converter all the way up. There's no need for that. We'll do a partial fill. Slurp, slurp. Good enough for government work. So don't leave your ink bottles open on a cheap notebook like what I've just done. You can see it's not the most stable place to leave an open ink bottle seated. Put it directly on the desktop. Let's start this writing sample. I like the snib. The engraving on the nib reads Iridium Point. Good line variation. Look at that line variation. You can see the shading on the hoop on the P as well. As you can tell, I am actually trying to write legibly. If you've seen my videos before, you know that my handwriting is just about as rotten as it can get. We'll quick brown fox this up. Do we feel sorry for the fox for having to constantly jump over the lazy dog? Or do we feel bad for the lazy dog constantly having some fox jumping over it? Maybe the fox and the dog have a thing and this is just part of it. Feud. So, like I said, this pen feels and looks very well made. The material feels like a premium material. I would expect, if I didn't know where it came from or the brand, I would expect to be charged somewhere high 20s to high 30s US dollars for this pen, just based on the material. That cap clacks into place, you can hear it. Some fake ASMR for you. The cap also feels like it's held securely in place when it's on the pen. It feels like a good, tight fit. This is a pen that I feel like I can keep inked for a relatively long period of time and it would be just fine. And that's not normally something that I am concerned about. Here you can see that posting the cap, it really stays on there. For those of you who do post, I don't. I like to say friends don't let friends post pens because it can damage the finish on the barrel. I have not done this, but I have seen people's nice pens scratched up from the cap being posted. So I use feud nibs for writing because it's fun. That's the kind of excitement I have in my life. But feud nibs, I think, are best employed for drawing. I think that if you are using your pen for drawing or any kind of art or maybe even some form of calligraphy that I know nothing about, because I know nothing about any of that, this is probably an extremely good nib to keep in your arsenal. I have a hard time writing legibly, drawing circles. That's my best attempt at a heart, so you can see that I am no one to be speaking authoritatively about any of that. Plus, I'm a stranger on the internet, and you shouldn't be taking my word for anything, because what credibility should I actually have in your eyes as a stranger on the internet? I just love that line variation. Do some squiggles. Let's take a look at what this nib can do easily. Look at how quickly I can just fill an area with ink. Just love these nibs. And that's pretty much it. Baoer 3035.